Hello, and welcome back to my 7-part documentary on the making of The Hitchhiker's Guide to Vana'diel. In these short documentaries, I will outline some of the techniques I used to evolve the film as well as the history behind the project. Please check out Part 1, Creating the Story, as this will provide some context to how I add the scenes in this video. For this part, I'll be discussing the scenes from the main part of the movie. Creating the scenes in the guide scenes will be discussed in the animation section. I will be discussing and showing scenes within the movie throughout. If you do not wish to see any spoilers, I would suggest that you first watch the movie, which will be released on May the 21st, 2022. Link in the description. To add the footage, I use the following: Sony Vegas Pro 12, which is a video editing software. This allows images or clips to be placed on the timeline and then converted into a movie file. Bandicam, which is a recording software. This is what I use to record the backgrounds and character models. Macromedia Fireworks, a very old image editing software which I use on occasion to modify background elements to a scene. Altana View and Neosis, which are Final Fantasy model viewers. These display characters or objects within the game that I can use as footage. Lastly, Final Fantasy XI, which I use for background scenes. We start our journey in the stone plains of Gusterberg, passing through the dunes and green forest areas leading to Sandoria, before heading to the northern snow plains. While I would have liked to included more areas, the different contrasting environments should help make the world feel larger. A map of Vana'diel is shown on 2 occasions. As you can see, the areas visited make sense within the journey. Most backgrounds are recorded direct from the game Final Fantasy XI. This is done using Bandicam and recording in first-person view. This only allows for the shot to be directly ahead. Neosis can record scenes from different angles. I mainly use this in the sequel when filming more exciting action shots. The background footage is placed on the lower track, with the characters being on top. Care needs to be taken so that the footage does not prevent the character movement within the scene. In this example, the tree in the background only works if the characters do not overlap. The tree is part of the background, but should be in front of the scene. Harry is placed below the tree to maintain the illusion. The characters are then moving past the stone gate. This too is part of the background. To place the characters behind this gate, we create a copy of the background and modify it using Macromedia Fireworks. By cutting around the image, leaving the stone intact, this can then be placed on the track above the characters. The characters will now walk behind the stone. Each character is recorded in Altana Viewer. I have saved all character sets as I progressed. We can load Ardial and Nash Cherie and record an interaction between the two. We can record a multitude of actions. We will record Ardial walking, then idle, and finally waving. Now we shall record Nash Cherie. She will turn on the spot before waving. I would normally record one character at a time for an entire scene, so if the character makes a movement, it continues into their next interaction. These clips can be put onto our video timeline above the background track and then edited. As I record these with a green screen, an effect called a chroma key is used to convert this color into transparency. This can be applied to the clip or the track. Ardial is shown walking on the spot. We will need to pan him left to right for this to look correct. We can edit the pan of each clip using something called tweening. By adding keyframes on the clip, we can add 2 different pans. First off, the screen to the left and then in the middle. As the scene progresses, it will move from one keyframe to the other. We can also change the size of the clip in the same way. Bearing in mind, stretching the clip will reduce the quality. After Ardial has completed his walk, we can add the wave and idle shots. We copy the previous keyframe to make sure that the pan and size is the same as the previous clip. We then trim the shot to make sure the animation flows as best it can. Once Ardial is in position, we can add Nashari and modify her scenes so that they interact with Ardial. By using the subtitles, we can time when each interacts. In this example, they both choose to wave when they are talking. Several scenes had their lighting adjusted using the LAB effect, and this can be applied to a clip or track. In the tavern scene, which has several lanterns, I have used a lighter contrast around the lantern areas. This is done by adding a background over the original with an adjusted light and then using a cookie cutter targeted around the lantern. We then increase the feather outline on the cookie cutter so this blends smoothly into the original background. For now, this ends the chapter, and we'll pick up on the next part of the development, the cast.